Fellow racers, we may be on the verge of a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe revolution, the likes of which we haven't seen since the implementation of Motion Glider into world record time trials in 2019. Two new pieces of tech have been discovered in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that have the potential to absolutely transform top-level play by allowing players to maintain the speed that we get from a trick boost well after the boost itself has run out. The second technique was only discovered, or at least popularized, within the last couple of weeks, and it's already been used to set 3 new world records. In this video, we're going to break down what these techniques are, the current thinking behind how they work, and why they have the potential to absolutely revolutionize the game. The techniques we're going to cover were both discovered by legendary Mario Kart 8 Deluxe player Kusaan. He made a tweet about the first technique on December 30th, 2021, although it's likely that the discovery happened a little bit earlier than that. This clip features some gameplay from TikTok Clock where he tricks off one of the cogs and then lands in a slide, which is basically just a drift where you don't build up a mini turbo. He carries the slide all the way past the next cog where he then does a delayed trick off the ramp. Oddly enough, doing the slide and then tricking off the ramp as soon as the first trick boost runs out is actually faster than driving straight into the trick. This technique is sometimes called the Kusaan trick after its discoverer, but I'm going to refer to it as a slide trick, both to be more descriptive with what's actually going on, and to be more consistent with the Japanese naming. It still hasn't been fully verified what it is that causes the slide trick to work, but it seems like what's happening is that when you trick and land in a slide, the very act of pressing R or ZR to do a trick as soon as the original trick boost runs out, causes you to get a boost to your speed. There's another school of thought which is that the slide is somehow allowing you to preserve some of the momentum from the original trick boost in mid-air for a short amount of time, essentially extending the original trick boost as opposed to giving you an additional boost. I personally don't think that's what's going on here, or at the very least that's not the whole story, and that's because of a unique strat that's used in the current Choco Mountain 150cc world record. In it, at the very end of lap 3, Panda tricks off the first ramp, lands in a slide, drifts off the third ramp, and then presses the trick button in mid-air as soon as the trick boost runs out. You can tell that these are the inputs that he used based on how his kart kind of reorients itself further to the left in mid-air, and it turns out that this gives him a time save that's pretty much identical in execution to the slide trick. Now whatever the explanation may be, it is in fact the case that the slide trick saves time. Like I mentioned before, it was originally conceived for use in TikTok Clock where Alberto used it to set a new world record on November 28th, 2021. However, the technique has seen a ton of love in other courses as well. Some examples include the ramps before the bridge on Wild Woods, the fountain section on Coconut Mall, and after the glider on Ninja Hideaway. Now some of you may be wondering, if the time save from the slide trick is due to just pressing R or ZR when a trick boost runs out, why do we need a second trick at all? Can't we just jump and get the same boost to our speed? Well, as it turns out, we can. Sort of. The second technique we're going to go over, often called the Kusaan slide or the slide jump, was posted by Kusaan to Twitter on July 2nd, 2022, and features some gameplay from Grumble Volcano. In it, he tricks off the ramp and lands in a slide just like before, but then he jumps. You can see that in comparison to a ghost that simply tricks straight off the ramp, he does in fact end up ahead. However, after a couple of seconds, the ghost makes up the difference. So what gives? The problem is that if you hop in the middle of a slide like this without following it up with a mini turbo or some other kind of boost, your kart will start to decelerate well below top speed. Unfortunately, the time gained from the slide jump is not that much. We're talking a few hundredths to maybe a tenth of a second, and it's not nearly enough to compensate for the time that we lose due to this slowdown. It would seem like all is lost, but obviously that's not the case or this video would have ended 2 minutes ago. See, it turns out that the slowdown doesn't happen right away, and it's this gap between when you jump and when the kart starts to slow down that all the magic happens. There are 3 ways so far that we know of to get this slide jump to work and save time. One circumstance where the slide jump will undeniably save time is on any course that has a trick ramp at the very end, which includes tracks such as DK Jungle, Mute City, and Cloud Top Cruise, just to name a few. This is because you just don't have enough time to build up a mini turbo before the run ends, so you're pretty much just driving straight anyway, and the slowdown doesn't kick in until after you cross the finish line. For method 2, we're going to head back to Grumble Volcano. I already said that if you don't follow up the slide with another mini turbo or some other kind of boost that you'll start to slow down, so you might already figure out where I'm trying to go with this. Basically, you can mitigate some of the slowdown from the slide jump by quickly chaining it into another mini turbo like you can see in this clip here. This works in part because going from one slide directly into another delays the slowdown that we just talked about. Building up a mini turbo afterwards will then negate that slowdown entirely. I should point out that with the Grumble Volcano example, even though this is faster than just driving straight and tricking off the ramp, the current Grumble Volcano 150cc time trial world record does a mini turbo trick off the ramp at the start, and this is almost certainly going to be faster than the most optimal slide jump. That being said, on July 6, 2022, Alberto used a variation on the slide jump to set a new world record on Piranha Plant Slide. So it may be the case that this can be used on other courses as well, but it remains to be seen just how much play this type of thing ends up getting. The last method for getting the slide jump to save time is similar to the previous method, but it gets rid of the slowdown with a second trick boost instead of a mini turbo. This is kind of similar to the slide trick, except that it can be used in situations where the two trick ramps are far enough apart that it's not possible to chain a slide directly into a second trick. This can be seen in Alberto's most recent Mario Circuit world record, where after coming out of the mushroom shortcut, he tricks off the first set of wooden ramps, then lands in a slide just like before. He then does the slide jump as soon as the flames disappear, and before the slowdown starts happening, tricks off the second ramp. He repeated this procedure on all 3 laps to shave a total of about 20 milliseconds off the previously posted world record on the MK8 Deluxe Records YouTube channel. But that's not the end of the story, not by a long shot. Just one day after the first draft of the script for this video was finished, Japanese player L used a variation of the slide jump which ends in a mini turbo trick, along with the aforementioned ending slide jump to set a new world record on Hyrule Circuit. And we can get even more creative with slide jumps and slide tricks and combine them in ways that allow us to pull off some absolutely bonkers looking strats. One thing I didn't mention about sliding is that for some reason, it turns out that if you trick off a ramp and then rapidly alternate between left and right slides, it delays the slide jump slowdown. And Army used it after doing a slide jump on Sunshine Airport to try and delay the slowdown long enough to last all the way to the first orange boost ramp. Now to be clear, we don't actually know whether or not this saves time yet, but at least as a proof of concept, this is a really cool idea. Alberto also has an amazing clip on Excitebike Arena where he chains a slide trick into a slide jump, putting him super far ahead of the ghost he was racing. And honestly, I could see this strat, or at least some variation of it, being consistent enough here that it could be possible to implement online. There's been some confusion as to whether or not this strategy at the end of Ninja Hideaway on 200cc is a slide jump. I'm gonna just come out and tell you right now that it's not, but leave a comment if you think you know why it is not in fact a slide jump. And also, tell me why you think the current world record does this particular slide at the end. I'll pin a comment with the correct answer 1 week after this video releases publicly, so check it out if you're watching this from the future. Now frankly, I could go on and on about all the places where the slide jump or the slide trick could potentially be used or have already been used to save time, and we've still got 32 more tracks coming over the next year and a half for the booster pass. So who even knows what's going to be possible there? Honestly, it's hard to understate just how exciting it is to be a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe player right now, and I'm just so excited to see what the next few months and really the next few years have in store for us. Thank you all very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and as always, I will see you in the next one.